Hello everybody, my name is MNovate, and this is Shifted Reality, Season 2, Episode 21 on the Real SMP server. Well, I want to say I wasn't too pleased with my affording myself a discount because I buy so much from him, so we gotta repay him. So here we go with our repayment diamonds. One for the trident, one for unbreaking, one for mending, and one for riptide. And then the 6 missing for the elytra. And as you can see, these are the MNovate repayments, all squared away, and everybody's made whole. Now let's deal with this issue. Now that we have the HOA president safely trapped in the below world, not the underworld or nether or anything, but, just down there in a cave, struggling to get out, we have to deal with the fact that the HOA had no authority to move Wassay's concrete shop, no matter how ugly it is. Apparently they impounded it before he decided to rebuild it, but his rebuild isn't going to fit in this spot. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to move it next to our new glowing shop. Yep, we are going to continue to expand up the walls, and if you look, ta-da! There it is. All nice and safe. We even got some advertisements here. Glowing shop and the concrete shop. This way. No sales yet on the glowing, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. It's just, sharing with the server, right? Plus, it worked as an effective trap for the HOA. I'm all pleased. And here we have Wassay's Concrete Emporium, located back into a proper shop location. Unfortunately, it was hard to make it fit, so it was very tightly packed in here, but we got it to work. And I did my best to try and get this 1-for-1, but if anything's out of the place, sorry, I did my best. And unfortunately, I didn't really have room to, connect it to the road, unless I wanted to really build it up and around. I'm just doing my best to show that this is the way to go for expanding, and there's still plenty of room for new shops once you factor in all the wall space that we have in this little donut. Well, now that we have the shopping area sorted out again to proper SOA standards, let's head back to our base and work on our next thing. Now, I would like to say in this episode, you can expect the completion of the bridge that I have been promising for a while. But unfortunately, we're still testing out some designs. And we have definitely come to the conclusion we are going to need slime and honey to do this. If I can get the redstone to work. I'm not a strong redstone builder, so please bear with me on that still. And unfortunately, the only honey supplies we have right now is these little honey farm that my daughter made, and it's all manual wait and collect, which we're not very up here very often, so our honey supply growth is going fairly slowly. A little bit of testing, a little bit of waiting for honey, but we will hopefully get there soon. So what else can we do to expand on this village today? And I think the answer is right here behind the church or cathedral. This little spot of land. I bet I can get a couple more apartment-like villager houses back here where we can maybe bring in some librarians and get the books that we are missing because Wassay is not selling them yet. So that is going to be our goal today. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to put in this area. Obviously, I used a layer of cobblestone for the foundation because that is common in villages, and we are trying to do a tweaked and improved vanilla village, not necessarily a reimagined or completely replaced village. Everything should feel like it fits in ultimately in the long run. But the goal here is to simply get the magic books that are not being fully supplied by Wassay in the shopping district, so that we can have our own supply of the books that we need and move from there. So, what all are the books that we need? We need, obviously, Unbreaking 3 and Protection 4, Aqua and Mending. That's useful. So that is 3 books down there. And then Respiration, Aqua Affinity, and Depth Strider. So that is what, 6 books? So I need to make 6 librarian workstations between these 2 buildings, and I'm admittedly not really sure how I'm going to do it just yet, but we will figure something out and we will make something look good. Okay, so I decided what I want to do with this one is we're going to put in like little 4 tiny villager apartment type things, and we're going to leave this area in between open and available for people just to kind of wander by and interact with their neighbors, create a little mini commune within our village. But I don't want to have any mobs or other zombies coming through into here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a resin brick wall here, since it'll prevent them from dropping over it, and probably put in a switch of some sort with some redstone to lower it when we want to come and go and trade with our villagers. And similarly, just because I want to achieve that brightness that I have with some of the other village buildings I've added, I don't really have anything with like the resin in this cathedral, which is fairly dark and gray. The port shipbuilding doesn't really have any of that bright resinness, so we're going to bring that back in. We're just going to take this arch and transform it into a resin brick look, and these will probably get a makeover as well. This is why I hate redstone. This lever should be putting a signal into this block, right? And that change in signal on this block should be detected by this observer, right? And that observer detecting the change should be powering the redstone lamp on and off, right? Why is redstone so complicated? Okay, so those of you who are redstone experts are probably laughing at me right about now. I have been informed by the Buildstone community that a power block is not a changed block state that the observer detects. I always thought it was. I don't know why I always thought it was, if it never was, but it is what it is. And apparently all I need is a regular redstone bulb instead of the copper bulb, 1 redstone dust, and then my lever, and then I have my on-off T flip-flop state that I was looking for. Why is it always more simple than what I try and do? And now I have a working little gate that will help keep the zombies away from my villagers. Now at this point I started feeling a little familiarity with this vanilla Minecraft house, where it has that kind of double arch roof. My daughter likes to call it the McDonald's house. I guess, golden arches and all that. So I came over, and especially once I started putting it in, I got that similar double arch. Mine's just a little bit taller, and since if I put the full stair overhang on the middle, it would completely cover up that center line, and I didn't really want that. So I used these white trapdoors in order to get just that slight stick out, that slight overhang, and call back some of the other colors I've been using in building of the additional houses I've been adding in. And that creates a nice little contrast to the darker spruce and dark oak colors. And then as we come in here, all the rooms are going to be more or less the same. A set of chiseled bookshelves where we will be able to put in whatever the librarian trades are. And I used the traditional bookshelves just for an accent color here. And as we bring them in, we're going to bring in their workstations one at a time so they could blend in better. Now I just need to decide what I'm going to do with this house on this side. So it might take you a little bit of time to see how this is coming out, but I decided to theme this off the vanilla librarian villager house. Just make it a little bit more fancy and a little bit more themed. But it will kind of come out and be a bit more apparent as we come along. So I started out this building with a mental visual idea of the vanilla villager house, and I kind of started remaking it using tuff and my own kind of little styles and tweaks on it. And I think it came out fairly well as far as the villager house is concerned. I could probably put some form of decoration or at least a double chest in here. But as I built up more and more with the tuft, I started coming to a bit of a realization that it was looking very militaristic, which definitely wasn't my intention, but I kind of started just rolling with it and seeing where it took me, and this is where we ended up with, and I kind of like it. It gives some interesting angles and profiles that can be seen from different areas and aspects of the base. Otherwise, it looks like this is going to become a bit of a history piece. It was built early on in the settlement of the colony as a guardhouse or military installation, which has since been repurposed into a private residence for a couple librarians. Here's another useful little design trick that I picked up over at the Buildstone community. If you put a little white chevron on the bottom of a banner and layer it with a central brown line, it kind of blends in with the post, making it look like a longer, more medieval style banner with the split tassels at the bottom. And I kind of really like how that turns out, so I asked if I could use that, and I did. I mean, it doesn't work from every angle, but with the angles it does work. It looks great and fantastic. So, I love it. Alright, now I just have to head over and pick up a new villager. Well, a couple new villagers. Okay, I know I have some kinks with my villager training center here that needs to be worked out, but I didn't think I would ever have this issue. Somehow a creeper got to the zombie conversion chamber. Can I get rid of... Don't blow up on me. Yeah. You are not... Get this thing back now. Ah, shit. Where'd he come from? Where'd the baby zombie come from? Probably... Oh, man. Alright, gotta go get my stuff. Man, I can't believe there was a creeper and a baby zombie in there. And of course, if he's picked up any of my stuff at all, he's not going to despawn. So I gotta get in there, get a weapon, and kill a baby zombie. Hopefully without a, million times death loop. Alright, well, looks like maybe I got lucky and the zombie didn't pick anything up before I restarted and it just despawned. But you... How do I get you back in your corner? Alright, let's try pushing back there with just a piston. There we go. Maybe I should take this as a lesson. I should really be lighting this place up. Oh. Alright, one villager left to go. Let's go get him. Come on, volunteer. Time to send you off to college so you can become a librarian. Don't worry, it's all part of the educational process. Okay, this guy has protection 4 for 9 diamonds. I think that's the best I've seen and the best I'm going to get, so we are taking that, locking him in. Still shy on a respiration, though. Well, I have all my villagers in place, and, well, I was able to get most of the things I wanted fairly cheap. On breaking 4, I had to settle for 9 emeralds, but that's not too bad. However, ultimately I miscounted because I have 4 living in here and 2 living in this building, but that leaves me with 6 villagers, which is what I thought I needed, except the enchantments I like to have on my armor come out to 7. So unfortunately I'm still missing respiration, and wouldn't you know it, respiration is also one of the ones that Wassay isn't selling in the marketplace, which is why I started the whole villager project to begin with. So yeah, more work to be done here. And the other thing was, at some point in the process of doing all of that, our armor has disappeared again. I'm still not convinced that they're being killed by any kind of mobs or anything else. I can't rule out that they weren't climbing up these stairs and falling down and getting hurt. So I went ahead and I took off the bottom part of the stairs here just to prevent them from being able to attempt to climb up anymore. And we are going to bring them back in off camera, and if they disappear again, then we need to further reassess, or if they stay stable, we need to reassess how to access the second floor of this building. We'll see what comes of any of that. But in the meantime, I think that's about all the time we have for today. What did you think of our new double-sided building over here with the 4 little villager apartments, or the converted guard tower that is now serving as home to private librarian citizens of Frosthaven Cove? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, if you've watched this far, which lately the statistic says about 28 people tend to reach the end of each video, if you're one of those 28, do please consider giving me a like, subscribe, or at the very least leave a comment about what you thought of the episode today. Anyway, Shifted Reality tuning out. We will be back next week with a new episode. Bye, everybody.